Hi, this is Dr. Dave, and for this tech assignment, we're going to start with the data that you created in an earlier tech assignment for Project 1. So what you'll want to do is open your team document for Project 1, and then go locate your Tech 2 submission. So mine is sitting right here, and this is the one where we made a scatter plot of the data and then added a model onto it. So we were able to put our price data and our earnings data on the exact same sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to copy this into my Project 2 shared document. Now make sure that you have actually gone ahead into your incoming or shared with me file and you've taken that Project 2 document and moved it over to my drive. But once you've done that, you can go down here and click on this little triangle and say copy to. Now this is going to show me the folders on my particular My Drive, and the one I'm looking for is in Math 212. Yours may be located elsewhere. But what I'm going to want to find is my Project 2 team document. My particular one here is called P2_group 0. Yours is going to be called something like P2_team, whatever your team is. I'm going to click on that and then say select. So what that's done is it's gone ahead and copied over my Tech 2 sheet into my Project 2. And now I'm going to say Open Target Workbook. So when this is open, you should see the copy of your Tech 2 right here. So I'm going to click on that tab. And I'm going to give this thing a new name because I'm looking to find a linear regression model for price in this particular one. I'm going to double click on it and I'm going to type in linear price, and then I'm going to put my name here, which I'm just going to write down as student A. What that does is it tells the rest of your teammates is that you're doing a linear regression model on price and your name is student A. Before you start tackling any of this, make sure that you and your teammates have divvied up the work here. You're going to have to find a linear model for price, a linear model for earnings, a quadratic model for price, and a quadratic model for earnings. Those 4 tasks you're going to have to allocate among your team. If you've got a 5th team member, have that team member do the same as one of the other 4 just as a double check. Alright, so since I'm doing price here, the only data here I'm going to need is years since January 1st, 2013, and my prices. Everything else I can delete off this sheet. If you were doing the years since January 1st, 2013 and the trailing quarter of earnings, you delete everything else but the columns A and D. So I'm going to go over here because I'm going to leave A and B, and I'm going to click on the A and I'm going to drag to the side, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to say delete columns C through E. At the same time, I'm also going to go up and I'm going to delete my chart. So what I'm going to want in here is years since January 1st, 2013. And if you're doing a price model, you're going to want to have the prices here. If you're doing an earnings model, you're going to want to have the earnings here. Alright, so now I'm ready to start putting in my regression model. The first thing I need to do is I need to select my data, so I'm going to click in A1 and I'm going to drag my mouse down to B10, so I've selected all the data, and now I'm going to say Insert Chart. Now this should seem very much like what you did in Project 1 because we're just duplicating some steps here. So in the chart editor, I'm going to go to More, I'm going to select Scatter, and then I'm going to pick the scatter plot. So I can see my data in here, and now I'm going to go start doing some customization. All right, so since I'm doing a linear price model for chart title, I'm going to type Verizon linear price model. I'm going to go down a little bit here. I'm going to put some titles on my axes. It's set for horizontal. Remember, this is years since 1/1/13. And I'm going to make the minimum on that be 0 and the maximum be 2. And you can see it update as I'm working here. I'm also going to go ahead and change my axis, and I'm going to look at the left vertical. Remember, since these are prices, I'm going to do price dollars. If you were doing the earnings, you'd write earnings in dollars per share here. And for this one, I'm looking at where my numbers are. I think I'm going to go from 0 to 70. You may need to change your values depending on how high your stock's price is. All right, so that's a pretty good graph so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the regression model, and all I need to do is scroll down a little bit farther here until I see where it says trend line. So I'm going to click where it says none, and if you're going to do a linear model, you choose linear here. If you're doing a quadratic model, you'd go down to polynomial. So let's see, for a linear model, you can see it's put it on there for me. That's wonderful. Now I'm going to customize it a little bit. I'm going to ask it to show me the r² value so I know how good the fit is. And I'm also going to have it change the label and say use equation. So what you can see you're going to get here is you're going to have the equation of the very best line, the regression line, and you're also going to have the r² value here. All right, that looks pretty good. So then I would go ahead and click insert. Now, if you're doing a quadratic model, the only difference you're going to do is instead of linear, you'll choose polynomial and then say degree 2, because a polynomial of degree 2 is in fact a quadratic model. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to linear here, and I'm going to say insert. I'm going to move my graph over, and there you have it. There is my linear price model for Verizon, and you're going to come up with a similar thing. When your team is through with this Tech 4, you're going to have a tab down here with a linear price model. Another student's going to do a quadratic price model. You're going to have a linear earnings model, and you're going to have a quadratic earnings model. And depending on how many people are in your team, some folks may need to do more than one. But go ahead and label it with your last name here so I know exactly who's who and I can give credit where credit is due.